Hey everybody, I'm back. You might have seen me on Chef AJ's show just moments ago. So I might be a little extra punchy, though my special guest for the day always makes me happy and bubbly because she's the best. Did you guys, if you didn't see our interview from Bundle Time in March, you totally have to go see it because I didn't know Rose at all. And I think we made besties in 10 minutes, right? You're like, I have no choice but to say yes. No, I'm teasing. I'm teasing you.
I'm just glad we made it to the second date. Here we are.
There'll be a third. Spoiler alert, right? So, and Apple is saying, hi everyone, we're deep into Creamy Palooza now. And absolutely. Yes. And if you guys don't already know, if you haven't heard 7,000 bazillion times, I have a new ebook that's all about the Ninja Creami. And it's creatively called the Whole Food Plant-Based Ninja Creami ebook 2. I was telling Chef AJ, I'm like, all the creativity went into making the recipes and 0 went into the title. But I figure let's just do it this way. So there's even templates on how to make your own ice creams and sorbets. And one of the questions that I get asked all the bazillion times, oh, before we go to that, those of you who are like, where can I buy the book? Go down, click on the more, and there's a link down there. I will probably put it in the chat in a little bit too. But the question I get emailed the most, okay, I guess this is number 2. Number 1 is, do I need the deluxe or the original? Either one's fine. You have one, it's perfect. You can make everything in it. If you're trying to decide, you can get the deluxe at Costco and they will take it back if you don't like it with no questions asked. You can get the original one at Sam's Club. Both of those places have extra pints. The second question is, when am I making a protein ice cream? Because that's it's like TikTok famous, right? I think. And I know you do TikTok, so I don't know, do you have any protein Ninja Creamies on TikTok yet?
I feel like, Kathy, everyone on TikTok with the Ninja Creami is new to the nice cream world. You were making nice cream way back. I feel like the TikTok craze was all these people discovering that you can make the healthy ice cream. So I just kind of felt beyond that. So no, I don't really have a lot on TikTok, no. And TikTok kind of scares me.
Oh, you are totally right for TikTok. Okay, you and I are going to have like a business call after this. And yes, I'm going to give you homework, and TikTok protein vegan ice cream is going to be one of them. And Rose, while you're there, for people who don't already know your fabulousness, will you go ahead and introduce yourself and kind of talk about your program a little bit and just all the things? You can talk about ice cream too.
I'll talk all the things. Well, first of all, Kathy, thank you so much for having me in my own living room. So thank you for your hospitality.
I feel like you're in the kitchen with me.
It's actually the living room. See? Not real life. I brought the kitchen here. I don't like the cabinets in the kitchen. That's why.
That's hilarious.
Other than being Kathy's bestie, her words, not mine, my name is Rose. I am a whole food plant-based nutritionist, certified personal trainer, and also a certified menopause coaching specialist. So I'll explain that a little bit because everyone always wonders why I speak about menopause. Is this how you can look at 65 years old if you follow a whole food plant-based diet? No, I am 28 years old, so I get that a lot. You look so good for your age. Thank you, because I am my age. But I'll take you back to the origin story. So I've been whole food plant-based since about 2011. Always been into fitness. Ever since I turned 18, I've been a personal trainer. Aside from working as a biomedical engineer, that's what I studied. When I went on Chef AJ, the first time when I had started my online coaching program, I had brought my mom on the show. Just thinking it'd be a fun activity for my mom, you know. Little did I know that that was the turning point where I became chopped tofu, and everyone was asking how they could look like my mom. I mean, love the woman, got to give her the spotlight. But what I learned from that show is that there were a lot of women my mom's age that had gone through menopause, or maybe a little bit younger going through it, that wanted to start strength training to look more toned, that plant-based maybe wasn't working for them the way that they intended, or women that wanted to transition to plant-based. So I started thinking, and I said, wow, menopause is still a little bit of a footnote within the plant-based community. I wonder if I can kind of forge a path and combine my expertise in strength training and my expertise in gearing whole food plant-based nutrition for strength training for menopause. So what happens in menopause? That's when, of course, we are losing our estrogen and our progesterone hormones. And kind of like if we have a power outage, I always like this analogy. If we have a power outage and we lose our electricity, the lights go out, things stop working. When we lose estrogen and progesterone in menopause, those hormones affect everywhere in the body. So we have things, mood swings, we have trouble sleeping, cravings go up, the visceral fat increases, that belly fat. A lot of women report higher cholesterol, higher triglycerides, higher A1C. So strength training at that point is very important, and also just making sure you're honing in your plant-based diet for success. So I started, like I said, I got that certification. I started tweaking my program, and now in the past year, majority of our clients are in that age bracket. So that's why I've been speaking on it for those that don't know me. And we have an online program. I have 5 coaches now, so it's grown a lot. And my coaches are all older. So if someone were to do the program, they wouldn't directly work with me. They would have someone that is actually going through it, or have gone through it before and, you know, is qualified. So
That's
as
smart
far as,
because
yes,
sometimes you do feel like you want someone who kind of relates to
yes.
what you're doing. So I love the idea that you're doing the individual coaching in a way that reaches people really well. And you've developed the strength program that goes along with it, correct?
Yes, correct. Correct. And I say this all the time, but you only need 2 workouts per week. Who doesn't have time for 2 30-minute workouts? They can just throw on one of your YouTubes, do the strength workout, and then they're done.
That's pretty amazing. You know what we should have for our third date is maybe you should come do a strength workout.
Are you inviting me into your home? Is that what I'm hearing?
Why, yes.
Ah!
No, that would be great because actually in my community, so I have a heartbeat group separate from everything else. It's free. And we have someone who, I forget the word, but they're not a personal trainer like you are, but they have background in education of it. And we're just kind of all trying to get that movement going together. So I'm wanting to have some guests on anyhow to kind of support that and make sure everybody has, because it's overwhelming. Just like when you're starting to kind of start to eat whole food plant-based or start to look at it, there's a lot of voices all at the same time. So I was thinking if people can see some of what goes on, that sounds amazing.
Yes.
And 2
Yes.
times a week is totally doable.
What, like you said, you know, imagine if I were, or you, viewer, are going whole food plant-based. Remember when it was the first time you heard about it? If you were to throw on a Kathy Hester, you know, deluxe, you're like when you're showing all your appliances, if you just watch that the first time, it can be very overwhelming. But once you start eating this way, you're understanding, it makes sense, it clicks. So for people that are starting strength training, you're right, there are so many different things out there. You don't have to join a gym. You can do it at home. Once you understand the foundational movements, so real quickly, if you're doing 2 strength workouts per week, it's 2 full body workouts. So as long as you're hitting all the muscle groups, your shoulders, your arms, your back, your abdominals, your chest, it's a personal thing. You don't have to hit your chest. Your legs, your glutes, that's all you need. And once you know like 2 basic movements for the body parts, you're set. It's really not that complex once you see it.
I love that. And I can't remember. Do you know Katya Gorbachova? She's a
I
vegan.
believe you and Cheryl were talking about
Okay,
her.
we've got to get you to meet up. She's in Russia right now with her
Oh.
parents, but she talks a lot about doing things with the back so you don't end up hunched over. She said we
Yes.
don't really, and until she really talked about it, we don't really pull things back.
Right.
We lift
Yeah.
things up.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting to kind of get all those different movements.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And who knows, maybe with more strength training, you can have 300 pints that you plow through. How many pints are left from this batch?
There's at least, oh my gosh, so there's 20 there, 6 there, probably 34-ish. Now, I've made so many pints, but like I always say, everyone needs extra pints, but not as many as I have. So I have like 30 some pints because I can't do, it would take me 2 years to get through doing a book if you didn't have that. So we're going to go a little controversial, everyone. So everybody take a really deep Zen breath, and we're going to have some disclaimerage and things like that. So one of the reasons I wanted to have Rose on is some of you have been asking a lot about high protein, whole food, plant-based, no oil diets, protein powders. This is my array of what I got to try. I'm getting a lot of emails about making protein pints because that is a big thing on the interwebs. And I don't know nothing about protein powder. So I'm doing the starch solution. Dr. McDougall is definitely not a fan. So what I want you guys to know, and this is what the Deep Zen Breath is about. If you and the doctor you're following on this program are not into protein powders, just let it go. It's okay. It's not for you. I know that like Joey from the Plant-Based Dads is talking a lot about it. I know dietitian Brenda Davis is talking about it. I'm seeing it some different places and getting a lot of questions. So for those of you who are more curious about some of this, I wanted to bring in an expert who, and if you want to, I don't know if you've got because Rose did do a protein Ninja Creami pint, and it was delicious. And what's going to make it or break it being delicious a little bit is the protein powder you're going to use. Just me talking from a flavor standpoint. And so I haven't tried this one at all. Maybe I'll open it and taste it. And you said this one was good. So these two complements the one you recommended, and I know that Earth Chimp is the one that the Plant-Based Dads are using.
Mm-hmm.
And I dipped my finger in it and put it in my mouth, and I didn't even make a face. So these were not nasty. I was not a fan of this one.
Mm-hmm.
But it also has mushroom in it, so it's probably my fault. So I'm gonna taste these off camera, and then I will come back and tell you, and I'll let you have the center and talk about protein powders and why it's kind of popular right now, or what's going on with it.
Yes. So thank you for that disclaimer. So for anyone watching this, you have to set your plant-based diet up for your personal goals. If your personal goals are to prevent, reverse, arrest disease, and that's your focus, continue eating to that way. However, if you feel like you want to incorporate some strength training, I know my clients say to me that they just don't look toned the way that they used to. That's because when we lose those hormones in menopause, we lose our muscle mass. So you can't really be doing things in your activities that you used to do and just keep that same figure. So with protein powder is not the be all and end all. Some of my clients don't even use it. It's just an easy way to incorporate it. You, by all means, can include a variety of whole grains, beans and legumes, nuts and seeds in your diet to fit your goals. But for people that are active, they are actively trying to build that muscle mass. And for those people that want that weight loss component along with it, as you know, with things like the starch solution, where proteins and fats are limited to less than 10%, that's because that goal is pure weight loss. If you start adding things in with fats and with proteins, you're going to be eating more than you need to lose weight. So protein powder, for example, is not coming packaged with, tons of fat like seeds and nuts are, or tons of carbs like just beans and grains are. So if you're actively trying to build muscle and if you are trying to lose fat along with it, protein powder is a supplement. It is not the main course. It's not the main squeeze. It's a little side dish, a little condiment. It's not the main part.
I love that you're explaining it like this, though, because
Yes.
I think that's the thing. So when we have something new, what's always is like you hear blah, blah, whatever the new thing is, whatever the new thing, but you don't always hear all the other parts of it, right? Like, for instance, some people are sensitive to nutritional yeast.
Yes.
But not everybody, right?
Yes.
So sometimes it's personal, right? And like one of the things is Apple is saying, and I know Apple makes her own protein powder. She uses pumpkin seed protein powder or hemp powder.
Mm.
And so I don't know if you have any other things that aren't quite as processed. Maybe like I was also looking at this one. I think this one has oil in it. And I just grabbed this from Costco. I didn't even look at it. It just said vegan. But like these don't have oil or sugars in them.
You definitely need to look at the ingredients. You definitely do not just want to pick one up that says vegan on it, because unfortunately, as we all know here, vegan does not always correlate to nutrient density or health promoting. So here are my top tips for choosing a protein powder. So exactly what Kathy said, you want to make sure that you're looking at the nutrition label. You don't want to see anything that has gums, fillers, artificial sweeteners, coconut oils, different types of oils, even stevia. If that's something that you don't include in your diet, a lot of them will have the stevia. So that's why, yes, Compliment is a great brand. It's very pure. And then one more thing to look for that I will say is important if you are actively weight training is then the type of plant protein. So we all know, how many times have you heard it? Plants have all the protein that you need. So breaking that down, what it means is that plants have all the amino acids, the building block to build the protein skyscraper. However, plants contain different levels of amino acids. So you need to make sure when you're eating your whole day that you're including different sources of whole grains, beans and legumes, nuts and seeds if you're a little bit focused on protein. You want to make sure you have those different sources because the bean family is different from the whole grain family, is different from the seed family in terms of the levels of amino acids they have. They all have all of the essential amino acids. So when you're looking for protein powder, the gold standard for muscle building, the bodybuilding, the bros, those, is the whey protein, the whey shakes. In our wheelhouse, in our world, you want to look for a protein powder that has two ingredients. That's going to be a pea protein and then a brown rice protein. Those are going to match the quality of the whey protein in terms of the way that our body digests it, absorbs it, uses it to build the muscle. You can totally incorporate things like hemp and pumpkin seed protein. There are a lot of unprocessed brands like that, but it might not be as quote unquote digestible or absorbable. However, remember my disclaimer, this is really for people that are actively trying to build muscle. For the vast majority, choosing something that is unprocessed, that is from hemp or pumpkin seeds, can be beneficial as well.
Okay, so let me, we'll go back to Earth Chimp again. And this is the plain and unsweetened one, which is kind of interesting. So it says it's got a plant protein blend that's organic pea, organic pumpkin, organic sunflower, and organic coconut.
Yes.
It has an organic fruit blend with date, banana, and how do you say, is it baobab? Do you know
what is that?
Baobab. I know it's an African fruit, and I don't know how to say it. And then it's got agave fiber, flaxseed powder, has a little bit of cocoa. So those of you who avoid cocoa or caffeine in all forms, make sure to read. This is the plain unsweetened, not the chocolate one. It's got some probiotics and cinnamon, natural flavors, and turmeric. So it doesn't have the brown rice in there. Would the pumpkin and the sunflower and the coconut make up for it, or would you not necessarily, this wouldn't be your favorite?
I would say then incorporate a whole grain for sure somewhere else in your day.
Yeah,
absolutely. You want to make sure, throughout the day, you're getting the whole gamut of the three families, the beans and legumes, the whole grains, and then nuts and seeds. So I would say for that, it has the pumpkin and it has the pea. That should be fine. And I like the ingredients.
And what I could do too, though, like if I was making a smoothie or Ninja Creami smoothie bowl, right? Because anything you make in a smoothie, you can freeze and have it deliciously icy, creamy cold in the summer, which is what I do. So I would put oatmeal. I'd put rolled oats in there anyhow. But you could also put in some leftover brown rice and blend it up. If you do something like that, make sure it's not too dry and you blend really well, or you will have icky chunks.
No one wants
icky chunks, right? That even sounds gross, just the word of it. But like the compliment for those, and I just know everybody's kind of going, well, what do all these say? Is also really, really easy. And again, I got the unflavored, and I did try the Cos, and it is pretty good. I don't always love the flavor of stevia and monk fruit now. I've used it before. I personally don't have any, it doesn't bother my digestive system. But if you're making a creamy pint, I want you to realize if you get something that is sweetened versus not sweetened, that's going to change how many dates or how you're going to do things. So don't over sweeten it, just from that part. But so the complement, what are they? Unflavored. Organic pea protein, organic pumpkin seed protein, organic almond protein, organic sunflower seed protein, and organic chia seed protein. And that's it.
Yep. I love those ingredients. It's extremely, extremely just clean. And chia seeds as well are another thing to incorporate. So I'm sure a lot of your viewers in the community are familiar with Dr. Goldner. Her protocol for lowering inflammation is very similar to what I do with my clients in menopause, because when you go through menopause, inflammation naturally, goes up. So having an omega-3 in there from chia, hemp, flax, or walnuts is helpful. So I like how the complement has that. And then, of course, you can incorporate a brown rice or grain somewhere in your day. And I will echo what Kathy just said, is make sure you're looking at the recipe that you're using. Because, for example, if you were to put an unflavored protein powder into a recipe and you don't have a sort of sweetener in there, whether it be a date or bananas, you probably won't like the taste.
Right. And some have, I found, and again, I'm the beginner in this. So like I find that tasting them and putting them right on your tongue tells you a whole lot real quick.
I never heard of that method, but hey, I usually just do a little mixy mix with water, but Kathy's the expert. Just dip the finger, put it on the tongue, and it's a yay or nay instantly.
And I'm like, if I don't make like literally, and with both of these, I don't. It doesn't feel super sandy. It gives you that, so I felt like that with the compliment too. So the first thing I did, I ordered these and they came in. I opened them up and I did this and I was like, okay, this is possible. And I did it with the one that I had and I was like, oh, that was not good. Because when I was just doing some tests, I was trying to get single packets to try a few things. Protein powders are not inexpensive.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that one way or the other, but just realize, and how do you take these serving sizes? So like this is supposed to be 2 scoops. This is supposed to be 3 tablespoons. I think this has, no, this one doesn't have a scoop. So, and I think a scoop is about 2 tablespoons. Would that be probably a good guess?
I would say depending on the texture of it, truly keeping tablespoons. If you have a food scale, you can measure it out the way that it says on the back, but you can also adjust it for your own protein needs. So typically the scoop will have around 20 grams of protein. So just for some context, what you can try for if you are muscle building, if that is your goal. Again, different people, different goals, but around 0.7, 0.8 grams of protein per pound of your lean body mass. So you'll have to adjust that throughout the day. For example, if you have a serving of high protein tofu from Trader Joe's, for example, that's 14 grams of protein. A half a cup of beans is, 7 grams of protein. Sunflower seeds probably have 6 grams of protein. So you can kind of make the serving size your own. What you don't want to do is just think that, you can add it to every meal that you have. That's a little bit extra. And you're adding more calories if you are trying to lose weight. So you have to understand how to balance it all and tailor it to your own needs.
I love that because I do know that, like, for instance, Stacy was on yesterday, and one of the things, because of the plant-based ads, every time Stacy's on, high protein is asked. And so, and she talks about, because sometimes people with kidney disease, I haven't had any experience with that, obviously that can be an issue for them. And she was talking about the protein being a little bit bigger. But I think she was also talking about kind of having 80 grams of protein added to something. And so I kind of came in here, and for two scoops, 35 grams of this one, it's 21 grams of protein. For 3 tablespoons of this one, it's 15 grams of protein. So I feel like it was a little bit of an apples to oranges comparison, since we're not talking about, like you're saying, and I appreciate you saying that very clearly. Even if you were to choose to add some protein powders, or like even single things like pumpkin seed powder or hemp powder, like Apple was saying earlier, we're not looking to get all of our protein from that any more than I have to eat only oranges to get vitamin C, or I have to eat only brown rice to get fiber. It's not okay for me to get fiber from salad, right? No, we're still eating this whole food plant-based thing.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. It's the diversity. It's your own personal goals, what your activity is like. There are so many factors. I'll just speak from my own experience. We've worked with, myself and my coaches, now 1,200 women in the last 4 years.
Wow.
So crazy. Time flies. Time flies. I do have some gray hairs, so I can relate to some of them. But I will say that, the women that come to us just feel like they want to look more toned. They want to feel more comfortable in their clothes again. They want to firm up, tighten up, and maybe they don't want to be 100% whole food plant-based. Maybe they struggle a little bit with that adherence and learning how to have more of that balance. So what I kind of came up with is tweaking Dr. Greger's Daily Dozen into what I call my blueprint of how we can incorporate certain plant-based foods on a day-to-day basis that's going to hit all the things that are important in menopause. So if you want to build muscle in menopause, having protein is important. Reducing refined sugar, magnesium, iron, zinc, selenium, all of those. But you can get all of those with a wholesome plant-based diet, as you know, if you're incorporating a diversity of plants in and you're not eating, oranges for every meal for your vitamin C, or tofu at every meal for your protein, or protein powder at every meal for your protein, you're going to be getting the health benefits, and then you'll be able to move forward toward your goal of changing your body composition, your physique, whatever it is that might be for you. And no one has the same goals. Everyone's goals are different.
I think that's awesome. And Apple was saying, yeah, I don't have any muscle building goals. I have protein powder because I'm immune compromised. I know that's a whole word, but it's not coming out of my mouth. We've all got to identify our individual needs when making decisions. Well said, Rose. And I think that's really true, because it's so interesting to we get so much information now, and I love information. Like I have this feeling if I was born now, I would be so much smarter than I am now, because I would learn all the things instead of like having the encyclopedia. Like that's how old I am, right? Like, so the information just wasn't available. But on the other side, all information, good and bad, are equally available right now, right? So we learn, that Dr. Greger, we trust Dr. Greger. We know he does a lot of research. Whatever doctor and plan that you guys are following, you've researched them, and you feel good about that's a good place to start. And research keeps happening, so more and interesting things. But sometimes we have to say, oh wait, was that one study done by, Monsanto or whatever, too? We have to look and see why people are saying the things that they do. So a couple questions. Tanya wants to know how you feel about Sun Warrior and Vega proteins and greens, if you have an opinion.
Yes. Sun Warrior, I can't recall off the top of my head if it has stevia in it or not. I do believe that tastes very good. Vega, I don't love the ingredients. There are a lot of fillers. I will say that the protein powder, I have not stuck my finger in. That's Kathy's job, but you should, is the James Wilk from The Game Changers has his own line. It's called Fight a Fuel.
Ooh.
The ingredients are clean. One of my clients, shout out Allison if she's watching, tried it and told me about it and said taste-wise, it is smooth and delicious. So James had promised me a free bag to sample. So I might have him redirect it to North Carolina because someone's finger needs to try it. So
I'll film it, and you can film my true face if you want. We can be like, it'll be either online or not. It's because like I have all, like, seriously, even when I drink like the little calm magnesium, sometimes if I know I'm gonna have trouble sleeping, I'm just make this like horrible face like that. So, but I think that's one of the things. I think I've had some Vega before, but it's been so long ago I don't remember. I think the chalky consistency can be hard. So one thing that I would recommend that I've been doing in creamy pints that would work in smoothies too is I've been making my own soy milk. If you make your own nut milk, that would work too. If you have the pulp and you blend it really well, it will blend down and just thicken, so you're not going to notice that the same way. Anne wants to know, do chia seeds need to be ground to obtain the nutrients? And I'm assuming because we know flaxseed has to be ground, or flaxseed is just like goes in one way, comes out the way it was. Right?
We don't want that,
It's almost as bad as I forgot I ate beets.
I
I'm dying.
Oh man, yeah. Or the nutritional yeast sometimes, or yeah, it's great. Um, yeah, so with chia seeds, what I find really helps with absorbing them, I like to make a chia gel or a chia seed pudding and have them absorb into liquid, whether it's water or plant milk, and consuming them that way. But I do not grind them down before I eat them.
Okay. And I don't usually, I will grind some, but I use it to make ice creamless milkshakes.
Mm.
So when you grind them, it definitely gets the gelling to happen a little bit
Yes.
faster. So just for people who've heard that I use it that way, that's why I'm using it as a thickener. Stephanie says the chocolate one by Compliment has natural flavor in the ingredient list, which makes it a pass for me. Do you
Mm.
have any insight to what the natural flavorings are? I know that they can hide a lot of things, but not everybody is hiding a lot of things too.
Yes. So natural flavors could be something nefarious or it could be something that is, not harmful. So what I would suggest, I don't know off of the top of my head, I haven't done this with Compliment, but I've done this with another company that has plant-based desserts. So I just reached out to them and asked them to send me their sourcing list for
Ooh,
that, just double check, and then you can go online and research the ingredients. So I would say a lot of companies are, they have to disclose that and they're nice about it. So I would say definitely look into that. Or, Stephanie, you can look at, I know the brand True Nutrition. You can make your own blend through them of the pea protein, like I was saying, and the brown rice protein, and it'll come just unflavored. So you can look for alternate things to kind of make your own blend.
and you sent me that link, and I did go there, and I was kind of fascinated. Like it was,
Yeah, that's another one. There's a lot going on
yeah, I
that
was like, I'm
website.
gonna have to do some research to really know what.
Yeah,
Actually, I wouldn't do research. I'd be like, Hey, Rose, what should I
yeah,
have?
there you go.
Let's just be
There you go.
real. And
There you
someone
go.
was saying, is stevia a whole food plant based sweetener? And I don't love talking sweeteners. And I think
Yeah,
most of you guys love that because whatever is okay now will be the devil in 3 years. It always is.
yeah,
It's happened. So the first book I had, I was using agave, which of course then the next year was the devil. And then I had added some stevia the year after that, which became the devil. And so I think it depends on which thing you're doing. If you're doing whole food plant based SOS, no sugar, salt, or oil, that is going to be mostly dates, whole dates or date paste. Even date syrup is considered a little bit refined, and maple syrup for those people. So it depends on where you're categorizing yourself and how you're setting up your kind of
yeah,
eating plan and eating rules. Dr.
correct.
McDougall is kind of like a little sugar's fine. He's okay with some white sugar, even. So I'm not telling you what you should eat because I never do. Unless I'm telling you it's delicious, you should try it. But I never tell you to go off your plan. But some
Exactly.
people have issues with stevia now. There's so many artificial sweeteners now versus 10 years ago that I don't even like. There was another one that was kind of okay and now it's not okay. I think there was a study, but some people are saying that have stomach issues, that some of these sweeteners do
Yes,
upset their stomachs. And do you
yes.
have any guidelines on what kind of sweeteners you prefer, or do you just kind of work with whatever people are comfortable with?
Yes, I work with whatever people are comfortable with. I will say that all of the recipes that I make are date sweetened. So we just make the date paste, take half a container of medjool dates with about a cup of water, and then make the date paste, put it in a jar, put it in your fridge until there's some black mold on the top if you leave it too long. You know what I'm saying?
And you can
Yeah.
freeze it. Did you know that?
Oh, I didn't know that. I never tried
Freeze it
that.
in ice cube tray. So, like, especially
Oh,
if you
perfect.
find that you're only using it for Ninja Creami pints or smoothies, A normal
Yeah.
ice cube tray, it's about 2 tablespoons. So actually, if you just fill it up, and in here, I give you a date paste and a date syrup recipe too in the
Yes.
ebook. It's easy to make.
And she gives a soy yogurt recipe as well in her ebook, which is a great option for including some more protein in your diet if that's your goal.
And I know some people can't have soy and they have soy allergies, and I totally respect that. Like, soy milk is my like first love of plant milks. Like, soy milk in the day used to be nasty, people. You have no idea how good you have it on soy milk. However, I use the Meomat, and I pretty much everybody's probably seen it. So I just use this milk maker. You can make oat milk. If you're making only oat milk, don't get a milk maker. You can make that in your blender. So I just put soaked or not soaked soybeans in there and strain it out. And then I have all this beautiful soy milk, and then I have all that pulp to use in different things.
Yes, the Okara.
Yeah. So, and Apple says soy milk's her favorite. What's your favorite milk, Rose?
Mine is also soy milk. But what I'll say for my clients that are soy free, that pea milk is comparable in terms of the family of protein. So if you're someone that, like I said, is actively trying to build muscle, you want to incorporate beans and legumes, whole grains, nuts and seeds. So tofu and tempeh and edamame have the same levels of those amino acids as peas and beans. So if you can't have soy for whatever reason, you can just have the beans or a pea in place.
I love that. And Ripple or pea protein
Yes.
milks, you can use the same soy milk recipe that yogurt recipe, and you can make it will make with pea milk too. Because the reason it doesn't make like with almonds or different things like that is because the protein isn't high enough for it to kind of coagulate. There is a recipe a friend of mine makes, and she makes it with whole almonds. Uses the whole almond, makes almond milk, and then cultures it that way, and it will work that way. So that's good. Anything else that you want to tell us before you start? Oh, and I didn't tell you this either. Let me come back here for a second. So Apple immediately said that she loved the color of your dress, and that's not a color you see often. It's beautiful, and I was noticing it's matching your fancy cup.
Yes, I'm very color coordinated here. Yes, thank you.
So that's awesome. Do you want to make some ice cream and then get some more questions, or did you have more things that you want to say about protein? I know I've kind of tried to drag all of it out of you.
Yes. Just to sum up on the takeaways, it's your own goals. It is your whole food plant-based diet, if you will. What I will say from my experience doing this over the last 4 years all online is that, you have to have that muscle building component if you want that toned look. Doing something that is, Stacy's wheelhouse and in the Start solution is great for total weight loss if it works for you and you're able to stick with it. I know for my clients that maybe couldn't stick to something like that long-term sustainably, or they had a rougher go with menopause, that what we do is gearing their whole food plant-based diet for certain parameters, like I was saying, that blueprint, balancing the plate while incorporating the strength training is a sustainable approach. And then when they are at their goal with the muscle, they can really maintain that with just the good habits that we all have as whole food, plant-based eating. So I'll say it again at the end of the show, but I do implementation or consultation calls, obviously not a sales pitch. I'm not a saleswoman, not selling cars, wouldn't even know how, but I do offer that in case anyone wants to see if my program could be a fit for them. There are more calls of just fit. I can give some more tailored suggestions on those calls and then explain what I do with the program. And they're totally free. I mean, I feel like if you go to my website, the program kind of sells itself at this point because we've had over 1,200 people, and I'm just trying to help as many people, as I can. Because like Kathy was saying, there is so much information out there that sometimes you just gotta throw it all out and just go to one trusted expert and just say, tell me what to do and I'll do it.
And we've talked about that too, because we've said when we did the starch solution, this is what we're doing. You guys should do whatever you want to do. But I think if you're confused, pick one thing to start with and then see how that works. Another thing I would love to say to you too is I think it's the perfect time. Like this seems to be the past couple of years where perimenopause and menopause is being talked about more. And I feel like it is, people are getting more help for that, which is really awesome because I think women are so overlooked in the healthcare industry. So thank you for doing that. I'm sure your mom thanks you all the time.
Oh, my number one fan. Yes. And I will say too, which is awesome, that clients that come in that have been eating whole food, plant-based, SOS free, the really menopause symptom that they only have is that belly fat, that visceral fat. They have a much easier go with hot flashes, with night sweats, with mood swings. That's because plant-based is so anti-inflammatory. If you're including a bunch of those raw veggies in, if you're including, cook whatever the phytonutrients, your body is thanking you for it. So that's another added reason for women now more than ever, if you're about to head into this lovely chapter of our lives that I will head into eventually, incorporate a whole food plant-based diet. It's going to help you from the inside out.
Yeah, and the hot flashes, when I was your age, I was like, oh, those aren't going to happen to me. I thought the first time it happened, and I'm past that now. I'm excited because I'm like, is this the year that I get really cold? So like, I'm like waiting for that. Like, I'm going to like have a party. We'll have an online party together when I finally have to wear a sweater all the time. But like, I jumped up because I had a dream that I was on fire because we had one of the older foam beds that get warm.
Oh gosh.
And yeah, so that, and for me too, the mood swings were really, really bad, but I had really bad PMS too. So it's very interesting to see how it's so different with so many people.
Yes, there's so much on that. There aren't a lot of studies really, but the studies that they do have trace people of different backgrounds or different populations to see, the links. If you have a mom you can ask, or women in your family, you can ask them. But then again, just like everyone's goals are unique, everyone's menopause journey is totally, totally different too.
It's true. And I'm in another group with someone who's talking about menopause, she's not doing what you're doing at all, but just bringing it up and talking about it more. And so I should probably connect the two of you because I think you'd be a really good fit on her show as well.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. But you're my favorite too, right back at you.
Aw, you're so sweet.
I'll get my pint.
Okay. So what are we making the orange dreamsicle recipe?
Yes, we are. So I have this. Remember the last time it was a little thawed. We'll see how this goes. Ooh, this smells divine.
And here's the thing. And I want you to see what Rose is doing. So it froze a little bit. It has like this volcano hump.
Yeah.
Some people say you don't have to scrape it down, but we're already kind of making magic with this machine we're supposed to be using oil and sugar. So right? And we're not using any of that, and it's still delicious. So I'm okay with scraping the little hump level. You don't have to be as OCD as I am when you see me do it, but I get a little, I don't know, neurospicy about it.
Yes. Take the frustrations of the day out. I get it. I get it. It's a bicep workout too. I see you. All right.
I want to see a reel with you doing that.
Oh, I will. Just a Ninja Creami workout. Put it up on the highest shelf, bring it down, drop it low, let the pint out. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Is that your TikTok strategy? Is that what I have to do? Dance with the machine?
I think that would be pretty awesome.
I don't see anyone else doing that. That might be a viral video.
They're talking about protein pints, but they're not talking about how to work out with your protein pint.
There you go. Trailblazer. All right, do you scrape this out into something else or do you just leave it?
I spread it around the edges and level it out, but you can, I also usually taste it before I spin it at this point. As you know, I tend to just taste things randomly. But it will let you know, perhaps if you're used to new to you protein powder, you might taste it and go, wow, that's a little sweeter than I was hoping it was. Or maybe, oh, that's not as sweet. Typically, when you freeze it, the sweetener, it doesn't taste as sweet after it's frozen as it does before you put it in. And you might have an idea like, oh, if this is kind of crumbly, I normally put a little bit of extra non-dairy milk. Maybe I will use some date syrup or something like that.
We will see. Mine usually come crumbly. And I love about Kathy's ebook is you did so well with the organization of it. You have exactly in the table of contents every question a beginner needs, and there is a troubleshooting section that goes through everything possible that can go wrong, short of it, combusting in flames, because I don't know, that won't happen. Okay.
Well, and here's the thing, if something really bad happens, you can call Ninja and they will help you. So as much as you guys think I know, I do not know the internal engineering workings of the Ninja Creami.
I thought you were going to say, Kathy, they can call you. Yeah. Or Cheryl. Yeah. All right. So.
It's always hard to do it when you're not.
I know.
When you're not in front of it. I think you have it off 45 degrees. I think the handle needs to be in the front, like perpendicular, like sticking out from the front.
Yes, hold on.
I could be wrong. Am I?
There we go.
Okay. When I'm doing it too, and I'm doing it from different angles, I can't make it happen.
All right.
Okay, so I'm going to mute you while you do that.
Okay.
And then I'll put it where we can see both of us. Oh, I don't think I muted you there. Here we go. Now you're muted. So you guys, I'm seeing Tanya saying things like, Kathy, you sound like I'm like what I'm going through now. I'm 48. And see, I'm 59, you guys. I'm old. I just wear silly t-shirts. And look, this is my halfway to Halloween t-shirt. I'm very excited about it. See, it's hard to believe I'm 57 or 59 and not 9 years old. Sometimes I do get that for sure. And also I put this up here about the compliment. Penny also emailed compliment and said that the natural flavors are organic and derived only from plants, so they're not trying to hide ingredients. And none of those have been made in the lab. But you guys can always reach out to Compliment or whatever company you're trying to get in touch with and find out more information too. So that's always a possibility. And Apple was saying she was grateful for menopause, no more migraines, hormones are more balanced. And I was really happy too, honestly. Like there was a couple of months there that were touch and go. But after that, I kind of got a little more used to it. And being on the other side has been pretty nice. But Daria says you're as young as you feel or act. And then, yeah, then I am a small child a lot of the time. Luckily, I am a hardworking small child. And CJ was talking about that she hadn't had soy milk since 2005. It was so nasty, I can't face it trying it again. And I do feel you, and I was there. And if you have silk soy milk is not my favorite, but it is the best beginner soy milk if you're trying to get some of your kind of standard American diet eating family to try it. It has the mouthfeel of regular milk and things like that. I'm going to listen. Oh, we're getting near the end of the spin. And oh, I think we're there. Nope, not quite. It takes a few minutes. And let's see, where are we on in the comments? Oh, CJ said, I'm eating raw Chef Yen's delicious passion fruit ice cream, and it's so good. And she let me whole food, plant-based, no oil her recipe. Most of her stuff is now, but this was an older ice cream recipe. And you're on now.
Perfect. I love that everyone comes and watches you while they're drinking something. You have drinkable creamies.
Yeah.
And bring their ice cream.
Oh, wait, that's me. Ooh, I can't wait to see it.
Powdery.
That's a good thing. So because it's powdery, everybody, what happens is it's powdery and people go, oh, the machine doesn't work. Oh, that this isn't. No, you just have to put a little extra liquid in there and use the respin button. And you might have to use it more than one time. Rose, if yours looks particularly hard, you could even do like the ice cream setting or light ice cream setting again instead of a respin. There's nothing wrong with using the respin 5 times, but if I look at it and I already know I'm going to have to respin it a bunch of times, then I will go ahead and do like the ice cream setting, just because it's a longer setting at a faster
speed. It's not bad now that I run a spoon through it.
And that's actually the perfect way to test is if you run the spoon through it and it smooths out, then it's not really that powdery. It's just a little bit
bad. When it's like the Dippin' Dots, that's when you might want to respin it. So it's not bad. It smells divine. I'll do a little taste test.
It looks yummy. And Mark Saunders says, love your protein sources. I use the same ones already.
Oh, perfect. Oh, yeah, it's nice and creamy.
Oh, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
You're going to have to take a picture for your Instagram.
Oh, good idea. Yes. Here we go. Perfect.
And you probably already know this, but if you edit the video in Premiere, there's a way you can export.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just a picture, just a frame.
Smart. Okay. This is good.
And it goes with your dress.
Complementary colors. Summer colors right here.
That needs to be your Ninja Creami book. You're going to be in all the different outfits and colors for all the different Ninja Creamies.
There. You need 30 pints and 30 outfits, disclaimer, before you buy this book. Just kidding.
Now that would be a reel.
That, okay.
I can't do that, but I would love to see you do it.
You know what? I'll do it. Literally 30 different flavors, 30 different outfits in 30 seconds. That would go viral.
Well, I will be sharing it everywhere.
That will go viral. So our battery is apparently at 20%.
Okay, then let's make this nice, because you're going to show us how to make perfect nice cream if you don't have a Ninja Cream.
Yeah. Yes. So this is fun. So I did this on Chef AJ, where I did my nice cream recipe totally without protein powder. So that's the OG one. This one is kind of a quicker one, because what you can do is take tofu, a block of tofu, and blend it with water and make a tofu paste. Or you could probably use the okara. I haven't tried it with okara, but essentially with the nice cream that I make a pudding type paste to put in the blender instead of just putting, the water or the plant milk or the protein powder with it. So if you are using protein powder, what I do is make a pudding first, a thick paste, and put that in the blender. So this is going to be a protein powderless nice cream. So what we're going to do is, so I'm using powdered peanut butter, PB2. The only ingredients here is peanuts. So if you're buying something like this, a powdered peanut butter, make sure you check that. So we're going to just put the little bit of tofu in here, just for a little extra protein and a thick consistency. And then we're going to make this chocolate. So we're going to do a scoop of peanut butter powder, and then we're going to do cocoa powder. Again, if you are cocoa and caffeine free, definitely don't need to make it this flavor. But what I want to show you, everyone take a look at my beautiful outfit because I will spill something on it. So here we go.
I
So
hope
we're
it's not dry clean only.
Yeah, no, literally, I think it might be. Okay, so we are gonna mix this together to make a paste.
And does that just kind of help, like, does it, the same way like flours absorb things, does that kind of help the protein powder absorb some liquid so it's not quite as gritty and dry?
Yes, yeah, I find that it really gives it the creamy, smooth texture to do this rather than just adding it dry to the blender.
Okay.
Little things do make a difference sometimes. I know it's an extra step, but it does make a difference. So we're going to put in some frozen banana and frozen cauliflower.
Ooh, I like that combo because you don't taste the cauliflower at all when you do it that way.
You just have to make sure, again, that you are actually blending it, because if you don't, then if you make it for your 2-year-old, 3-year-old daughter or granddaughter, they're going to say, Grandma, why is there chunks in my ice cream?
Right. Now it has to be blended well. And I find a lot of times when I'm doing stuff in my Vitamix, I scrape it down a few times just to make sure. But again, you don't have to be as spicy as I am about those things.
I think everyone wants to be as spicy as you, Kathy. I know I do.
Well, you saw me laugh when you were talking about tofu, which had nothing to do with you. One of the comments was when we were talking about 30 dresses, Penny said, you mean you don't have 30 t-shirts, Kathy? Because of all my silly t-shirts. That's what I was laughing about.
Tell everyone what t-shirt you're wearing now.
Yes, I'm wearing my Halfway to Halloween t-shirt. I showed it while you're blending, but I'll show it off again. And this is, Gideon's does some artwork stuff that I really like. And Courtney wants to know if it's raw cauliflower or was that steamed or blanched?
This is the frozen one from Trader Joe's. So this is the frozen tricolor cauliflower.
So it was blanched.
Yes.
It was blanched.
It was blanched, but you can freeze your own if you blanch it or even steam it.
Okay.
All right, we're going to blend this if you want to mute me.
Okay. Well, I never want to mute you, but I will. So, but I didn't mute you over here. It's actually not very loud at all, so I think we're okay. So if you guys have some questions about any of the ingredients or how any Ninja Creami questions, especially if you have some specific questions for Rose, maybe about protein or menopause or all of the things that we've talked about, I'm probably going to ask Rose if she has the time, if she can come back and maybe check the comments in case you have a couple of questions and you're watching this later. But like she said, and I have a link to her website in the notes, so you click more and you'll see that. And she does offer those free calls so you can talk to her and see if this is even something you want to do. And I really like that. I like that so much better than let's just sign up and then try and leave if you don't like it. But, you know, Tanya says she does raw cauliflower and so does Courtney. And I think that would probably work fine too. I've done both. Ooh, so let's see that. Yummy, yummy.
Again, the same thing happened. The fruit was too defrosted.
So it's
So
a
it's a
little thin.
little bit of a here. Next time we will do these recipes first. But yeah, typically, so if you go to my Instagram, I have some of my recipes on there. It's usually super thick. I mean, it's still gonna taste good.
Well, and you know what you could do right now to thicken that up is just grab some more frozen bananas, grab a little more frozen cauliflower in the freezer. So the thing is that everyone should know is pretty much everything's fixable.
Yeah, see, I did it on purpose.
You did, just so that we would know. And with weather getting hotter, that's going to happen to you more and more because you're used to leaving things out for 10 to 15 minutes in the winter if you're spinning something. And if you do that in my house in the summer, then it becomes a shake. Also, the other thing is if you use too much liquid or overspin your Ninja Creami, you can always then add more non-dairy milk and put the milkshake setting on and enjoy a milkshake.
Who doesn't want a milkshake? But now, Kathy, I think our camera is at 5%. So I will bid my farewell.
What brand of cocoa powder do you like? Or cacao?
This is a good one. I just get the cacao from Trader Joe's.
Okay, great.
So this is Trader Joe's cacao.
And Michelle is saying, I'm allergic to soy. What would be a substitute for the soy in the recipe? Would you use something like almond yogurt or would you?
Yes, actually, you can get, I believe the brand is Franklin Farms fava bean tofu.
Yes, there is a fava bean, a chickpea.
Yes.
And there's, from Asheville, there's something called hempeh. It's made with hemp.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. I feel like I'm rushing you off, but I've got your information for your website below. You guys, if you're interested in talking to Rose and seeing if it's something you want to do, great, then go ahead. If not, all your protein questions have at least been mostly answered in this. So thank you so very much for coming on. And we'll make a date for date number 3, which is going to be weights, I think.
Love it. Yes, Kathy, thank you so much for having me. Tell Cheryl I missed her. And for anyone watching, even if you're not having the classic perimenopause, menopause symptoms of hot flashes, belly fats, mood swings, if you just feel like you want to look toned and comfortable in your clothes, you can go to my website, schedule a free call to chat, and I can just outline exactly what you might need to get to your goals. And I'm going to go enjoy this. Kathy, thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. And I can't wait to see you again soon. And everybody have just the very best day. Tomorrow I'll be on with Vicki at 4 p.m. from Ann Arbor Vegan Kitchen, and she's going to make her chocolate ice cream, which is delightful. Okay, you guys, have a very Ninja Creami day. Bye.